My topic is Tom Joad as a character and his journey throughout the story. The story starts out with Tom just being released from prison due to manslaughter. He gets a ride from a truck driver back to his family's farm, only to find out that the banks foreclosed their farm and forced him off the land. He is able to reunite with family members and former preacher Casey. Tom and his family take a road trip to California in hopes to find work, but encounter lots of obstacles on the way. Tom develops the most out of anyone in the entire book, making him a very interesting and in-depth character to talk about. So, first question. How is Tom's character developed from the beginning of the story to the end?
I think that in the beginning he's kind of a outcast that just got out of jail, and he's trying to find his family, but he doesn't really know the situation that everyone is like in. But then as the story continues, he kind of becomes a leader in the family, and like him and Ma kind of take charge over the whole family situation. And then at the end of the book, he's really in touch with what's going on with like everyone, and that's like going through the same thing as them, because he starts to lead the people going on strike.
Yeah, I feel like in the beginning of the book, he kind of doesn't have much depth. Like, he's just like a person who's kind of like messing around, like just got out of jail, like kind of wandering, like picking up the turtle. Like, he just doesn't have much depth. But by the end of the book, like he's like kind of like has more meaning to him, and kind of like wants to do meaningful things, and like has like grown up, it almost seems like.
Like he's just like really evolved throughout the entire story.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Why does Tom feel the need to lead the group of people going on strike?
So Tom wants to lead the group of people going on strike because like after everything he's been through, like, and with Casey, with what he did, like he was kind of inspired, and like now he realizes that he wants to like fight for what he believes in, and like fight for what's right, and like lead the people going on strike. So he wants to like follow in Casey's footsteps, and like he just has realized that like fighting for what he believes in is more important to him than like just being quiet and like doing the work.
Like scraping by. Yeah, I think he also kind of like, he thinks he owes it to Casey because Casey did all this work for the cause and then eventually gave his life for it. So I think he thinks it would be wrong to just
Trying to carry on what he's doing.
yeah, just give up his legacy like that.
Do you feel like kind of going back to the first question too, like he wouldn't have, if this was happened at the beginning of the story, there's like no chance that he would have like taken on this
Yeah,
role, right?
I don't think he would have at the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
So this kind of leads to the next question too, but how does Tom's view on the big corporations affect other people's views on them?
So he obviously, I mean, he's with a lot of the other people, and like he doesn't like the big farmers and like the big, like, just like 1% people, and he like, but he's willing to like take charge and kind of like wants to lead people. So I'm sure he inspires others and like the rest of the family to kind of like strike as well and like fight for what they believe in and not just like settle down.
Yeah, he definitely leads people in that cause. Like, he doesn't like the big corporations, and with the people going on strike, since he's a leader of them, he kind of like reinforces that idea to them. But also throughout the book, he talks about how he doesn't like the government as well, and I think that kind of relates to like big corporations as well, because he thinks that the government and these big corporations are working together against the common man, when yeah.
So you feel like he's just inspiring everybody?
Yeah.
Like that. How has Tom's forward personality throughout the book affected him and those around him?
So I do agree that like Tom is a pretty forward person. Like in the very beginning, like obviously he was sent to jail for manslaughter because like he was defending himself, but like many people would have just like not fought back and not like killed the man, but he was very like forward about his feelings, and he's like always like, and that obviously affected him kind of negatively, because then he ended up going to jail and it affected his family negatively. But like I feel like he's always like kind of there to like express what he's feeling and like just like put in his 2 cents, and then like in the end he's still like a very forward person and like wants to like fight for what he believes in once again, and like not like afraid to
Not let people control him.
yeah, and like not afraid to like back down, like especially when he kills the man who killed Casey.
Yeah, I think throughout the book, one thing that didn't change much about him throughout the book is that I don't think he's very afraid to like speak his mind,
Yeah.
and he kind of stays on that same pattern throughout the whole book. And even in the beginning, when he just got out of jail and he's hitching a ride with a truck driver, he's kind of just like saying whatever he wants and not really being reserved at all in kind of a situation where most people would be reserved. So yeah, he's very forward.
Like he wasn't very scared to let the truck driver know about
Yeah.
like his past, his
Mhm.
history. Alright. What relationship do Tom and Casey have, and how has that developed and played a role in the story?
So in the beginning, like Casey, obviously he's known Casey for a while. Like they kind of have a history, but he only sees him as a preacher, and like that's all he's really ever been to him. But then obviously like Casey's no longer a preacher, and like as the story goes on, he becomes much more. He becomes like a close family friend, and like he inspires Tom to like follow in his footsteps of like leading the strike. And so it kind of goes from a more like just like low key like relationship to something much more like important and like special, I guess.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit all the points. Just like the relationship definitely evolves. Like Tom comes to learn that like Jim Casey is a smart guy, and he starts to like respect him a lot more and become much closer with him than he was at the beginning of the book. Yeah.
Because also just like later in the story when Tom literally like killed a man for Casey,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just like avenge his death. When you would like obviously it's not surprising because Tom went to prison in the beginning, like we knew at the beginning of the story for manslaughter, but you would feel like maybe he'd kind of be scared to go back if he was just like if Casey was some random guy, but obviously he meant a lot to him before he
Yeah.
could do that and like risk going back because he knows what it's like. But, yeah. Just a final assessment. What did you guys like take out of this discussion? Like, what did it make you realize more about the book, or like go in more depth of?
Well, it definitely like helped us to realize like how much Tom has actually evolved, and how like, cause like now that you like really think about it, like he has just changed a lot as a character, and like has a lot more depth to him now, and also his relationships have changed. Like I'm sure at the beginning of the book he wasn't as close with his family because he hadn't been around them for so long, and now like his relationships are stronger. His relationship with like Casey got stronger. His opinions are stronger. He just has a lot more depth, and like this discussion really brought that out.
Yeah, I think it really helps to show that like he really evolved the most, I think, of any of the characters throughout the book. And just the way he did it, he became kind of a leader in the community and a leader in his family, whereas at the beginning he was an outcast and like no one really thought much of him, and he kind of, I think at the beginning he kind of had to prove himself.
I was gonna say, do you feel like he like owed it to like his family and owed it to like the people around him to prove that, like for the time that he's missed, to show that he's still here and that he's still part of his family?
I don't think they really expected as much out of him as he ended up contributing to the family, but I think he definitely felt in himself that he owed something to the whole family.
Sure, he felt kind of guilty.
Yeah, probably.
Thanks for participating.
Okay, alright.